I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Forbes senior contributor Mark Joyella. Vice Media Group officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection earlier this week. And as we know, this comes just 6 years after the company was valued at $5.7 billion. So that's a huge plunge here. Mark, simply put, what happened?
Yeah, it's a fascinating case of a brash media brand that really seemed to be taking charge and threatening a lot of the legacy media companies in the world, and then to see that valuation just crash to close to nothing essentially. I think a lot of things happened. One, obviously, there's a larger picture here of a pullback in digital advertising, which is impacting a lot of digital brands. That's one thing, but specifically involving Vice, they had this really specific way of going after younger consumers, and they did a great job of attracting millennials to watching video content, reading digital content. I think that over time, though, it may have been harder for that generation to, or rather for Vice to kind of get the younger generation now in the form of Gen Z consumers who either weren't as attracted to that style of telling stories as millennials may have been, or just weren't consuming content in the same way. And that seemed to be something that really impacted Vice in a way that maybe some of the other digital brands haven't had that problem.
Vice News is known for saying stories in a compelling way. It is an edgy brand. Simply put, are you surprised? Was there writing on the wall here before the bankruptcy?
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, from the leadership of Vice all the way down to the products that they produced, it was, just as you said, really edgy, really in your face. They came out with a TV show that originally aired on HBO, and the style was, no ads, no anchors, and no censors. And that was their style. They didn't want to have somebody wearing a tie in a studio introducing reporting. They just jumped into these hot spots around the world, like North Korea, and it was such a unique style. Why that has not continued to attract an audience is a question of maybe just the way people are changing their opinions about how they want to access and consume information. But certainly separate from that is the issue of how do you translate the energy that they can produce as far as their content and their style and their attitude into what they have to survive, which is revenue and a reliable source of revenue. One of the things that Vice did over time was to continue to seek out new funding, so they would go to investors, and that sort of hinted that there wasn't that reliable source of advertising revenue that would say, hey, this model is actually working despite everything you see, which is, hey, we're on TV, we're everywhere, we're around the world. That sort of hinted that there were larger problems.